Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome folks, Today the Hungry Gamer is back with another mini preview, and today we're talking about Springsign, designed by A.D. Mangan and from the End Games, and I do apologize if I mispronounced that name. And you know, I am just full of apologies, because the next thing I have to say is I've had this prototype forever, and I just kept not getting to it, and I don't even have a good reason. So on camera, I'm so sorry it's taken me so long. There's still, I think, 5 weeks or so before the campaign, so there's still time, but nonetheless, not cool how long it took me to get around to this. So that's the first apology. Second apology is, this is a mini preview. It's a mini preview because I'm an idiot and I messed up my footage. And, well, yeah, I'm an idiot. So more apologies there. However, I have components I'm going to show you. So I guess that's okay. Anyhow, lots of apologies to start this. But to jump right in, what Springsign is this is a game where anthropomorphic animals are settling in this new town. And you're all competing to become mayor. You're competing to become mayor. And the first person to get to X number of votes, be it 5, 6, 7, whatever votes, will be the winner of the game. And you're going to gain votes, for the most part, by gaining popularity. And every time you gain 6 popularity, you've won somebody's vote. And overall, this is an action selection tableau building game. And at its core, that's all this is. But what's going to happen is, on your turn, you're going to have your player board, and the current player boards are all exactly the same, despite the different art and the different text here. There are some asymmetric player boards, and I have seen the early drafts of them. They're not ready for public consumption, but I've seen them. They are different, and that's the type of thing that I'm all about. But the core here, you'll see there are these core actions that have core costs that are going to go with it. And so on your turn, you're going to take one action. You might do a feed action, which means you're going to spend some of your fish. And basically what you're doing is you're going to be trading fish for the resources that the settlers that are in the town have down on them. Because every season, more food, more items are going to kind of refresh based on the settlers in the town. You're also able to then potentially hire these settlers, and as you hire these settlers, well then those things that they produce each turn are going to go right into your inventory. Though, as you may have noticed, you do have a limited inventory that you are dealing with, so you kind of really have to balance how you're spending things and what you're keeping. I will also point out that every now and then you find a settler like this guy right here that has these little fire symbols, and that represents anarchy. Because just like I said that you can win the game by getting the most votes or hitting the vote threshold, anarchy can also win. So while this game is not a co-opetition, because you're not working together really against anarchy, anarchy can win. So it's everyone for themselves, but sometimes the game's going to win. That said, in my plays, the game ain't going to win unless you're letting the game win. I should also point out that some of the settlers are just bad news because they're bandits and they're going to get even more anarchy every single round. And so that's a big part of what you're doing. But other things that you might do is you might do a study. And study is going to earn you relics. Now, there's no art on these relics yet. But as you can see, they have different bonuses. And like this one here actually has another action that you're able to take. So by getting these and putting them into your tableau, you're going to get bonuses like this, which is every turn, or maybe new actions like this that you're able to do as well. Thus kind of building up all the things that you can do. And why that matters, all the things you can do, I'm going to explain in just a minute. You can do a simple buy action, which means you can kind of go to the market on the board and just buy supplies that are there. Though they do run out, they kind of replenish every turn, but they can run out. Or you can potentially go do a fight. And fighting is like that bandit that was there. If you go and you beat him, or her, I should say, that there are male and female bandits in this game. If you beat them, then not only are you going to gain some popularity for doing that, of course you have to have gained the swords to do it, you'll gain popularity for beating them, but you're also going to gain whatever it is on the card. So that bandit that we saw is getting a book every single round it's out there and is increasing anarchy every single round it's out there. And I also forgot to mention that when you're doing that buy action, you can also buy buildings, which again, like the relics, are usually going to give you new actions that you can do, and they might give you different abilities and things like that. And usually these are going to be one of the main ways you're going to be gaining popularity to get those votes. And So you're going to keep doing actions, as many as you can, over and over and over, until eventually you're going to have to return home. Then when you return home, you'll get to claim a harvest tile, but more importantly, you're done until everybody else has passed. So if you've taken a couple big turns, you're going to have a couple turns where other players are going and taking advantage of the board state out there. So it's really a balance between taking the big fancy actions and maybe taking smaller actions so you can kind of do more. But with all of that said, what do I like about this game? First of all, I adore the artwork. I mean, I'm a sucker for the anthropomorphic animals. I love them with every fiber of my being. I love it. I also love tableau building. And that's probably my favorite kind of Euro mechanic. Building my tableau, taking my actions, going the direction that I want to go. And I think this one does it really, really well and very cleanly. But because you don't have the same amount of turns, you get this lovely thing going on of trying to maximize your turns and figure out, okay, I'm going to buy this thing, which will let me then do this thing later on, which then I can use that ability to do this. And you're kind of slowly trying to chess move this out and figure out kind of the way to go. Because most of the actions are kind of expensive. It takes 4 swords to beat a bandit most of the time. And when your inventory is only 10 big, well, spending 4 is a big deal. So you're really trying to figure out the best way to do things because things aren't easy to do. But because of that, it makes the game far more interesting. I also appreciate that it moves relatively quickly. It pops around because you're just doing kind of one thing. And while, yes, the board state does change very rapidly, and so you can't really like plan way out, you can always have an idea of what you might want to do. The person next to me takes one of the cards I'm interested in. Okay, well, I still have, 1 or 2 people to say, okay, well, I can't do that, but I still want to do this thing over here, and here's another option that I like. So it's pretty easy to keep the game moving, which somewhat prevents AP from really striking in this game. It is possible, but because of the way I think the action selection goes and how expensive things are, there's not a ton of things that you can do in any given turn, which really does reduce that fairly effectively. And then I'm going to end the things I like about this game with this, because I'm then going to start my quibbles with it also. I really like where the asymmetric player boards are going. I love that on this side I have my little bit of story. I get to learn about these characters, and I'm pretty invested in these characters. I like this world, I really do. And then on the back side is where the asymmetric characters are going to be, which is going to give different costs for the main actions, which is really big to me, and they're a little bit thematic. It'll cost a little bit less to do this if you're one character, but it'll cost you a little bit less to do a study action if you're this other character. Maybe it costs you different things, which I think opens the game up, and they all are going to have a special power that is unique to them as well, and I love that. I just love it when a game does that, because especially when it's a simpler game like this, because it just lets you have a different experience, and when you play each character, suddenly you're able to play the game differently because of you're leaning into those character powers, and I really like that. So what are my quibbles with this game? The balance isn't there yet, and to be fair, in the box it said, here are these things because you expressed interest. They're not ready. So we don't know where the development on these is going to go. And for me, I kind of wish their powers were even more powerful. I love in a game like this when every character has a power that feels like it's broken, it's not fair, but everyone has a power that feels like it's not fair. And I love that in a game. So I'm kind of hoping it goes that direction, but I don't know yet. So that's going to be the first thing. The second thing I just alluded to, it's a very simple game. It's very simple. It's just quick, simple tableau building. This is, well, it's a lighter game. And that's not a bad thing. But I know a lot of you that watch me regularly, you're more in line with me, and you like kind of a medium game, and sometimes you want to go to the medium heavies or the light heavies, and every once in a while to the heavy heavies. But lighter games, a lot of people, you're not as interested in those. So just understand this is on the lighter side. just kind of playing the core game, it is going to feel like the same kind of gameplay loop. The difference is coming from what cards are out and if you're using those asymmetric characters. Then I'm also going to throw out there, it does have a solo mode, which does work, but it is a different feel from the normal game. It works and it's enjoyable, but it's not a solo mode that feels like you're playing the same game just against a bot or something like that. And then the last thing I'm going to say is, and this is just me being selfish, a lot of the settlers, that's the same characters, just different abilities and different names. And I know art is expensive. I get it. But I really wish there was more characters in there. Even though there's just different turtles, different rats or raccoons, whatever the bandits are. Because I love the art and I want to see more of it. But there you have it, folks. That is Springsign. I think for a light, quick tableau builder, this one's really satisfying. Like, I really have enjoyed playing it, and I wish I'd been able to play it more. In fact, I really wish that I didn't mess up with my recording and just had a bunch of hot garbage to put on the table to kind of show you how it works. But there you have it, folks. That is Springsign. I think if you're looking for a light tableau builder and you're into this anthropomorphic art like I am, this is really a good option. I really am glad I got to spend time with this, even though I've been a total bum and took so long to make this video. So there you have it, folks. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.